You know that feeling? When you're doing everything right on paper, you're hitting the goals, you're getting the promotions, but on the inside you just feel stuck, maybe anxious, kind of irritable, and your brain just will not shut off? Well, if that sounds even a little bit familiar, you are definitely not alone. We're going to dive right into this paradox, and more importantly, give you the tools to break free from it for good.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to unpack what the high achievers trap actually is. Then, we'll introduce you to those pesky inner critics that keep us stuck. We'll look at the mindsets they create, and then, the best part, we'll get into the action plan and the toolkit you need to finally set yourself free.
All right, let's dive in. The high achievers trap. This is really the heart of the matter, isn't it? It's that bizarre conflict where your life looks incredible to everyone else, but for you, it's a constant internal battle with anxiety and feeling totally overwhelmed.
This quote from Dr. Shadé Zahrai just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures that feeling of living two separate lives. There's the successful, put-together version that everyone else sees, and then there's the stressed-out, anxious one that only you have to deal with. This whole experience is often called high-functioning anxiety. And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this contrast, right? On the one hand, people see you as confident, totally in control. But on the inside, you feel like your mind is just on overdrive. They see this amazing work ethic. You feel this crushing productivity guilt if you even think about taking a break. It's this disconnect that is the absolute key to understanding the struggle. And honestly, it's why I can feel so incredibly lonely.
Now let's be super clear. High-functioning anxiety isn't some official medical diagnosis you'd find in a textbook. It's better to think of it as a catch-all term that describes a very real, shared experience. That constant anxiety, the relentless self-criticism, the perfectionism, all of it hiding behind this shiny mask of success. But okay, if it's not a formal condition, what's actually causing it?
Well, that brings us right to the source of the problem. It's time to meet the voices in our heads that are secretly running the show. Let's talk about our inner critics.
And here's the thing you have to understand. These internal voices, they are often the single biggest obstacle holding us back from what we want. We've been listening to them for so long that we don't even hear them anymore. They've just become the background static of our own minds.
So researchers have actually identified a few common types, or archetypes, for these voices. First, you've got the judge, always whispering, "You're not good enough." Then there's the victim, telling you that you're powerless and it's not your fault. You have the protector, which paralyzes you with fear by screaming that everything is too risky. Then you've got the ringmaster, who fuels burnout by insisting your worth is tied to how much you get done. And finally, the neglector, the one that turns you into a people pleaser by making you believe everyone else's needs matter more than yours.
Just take a second and look at that list. Seriously, which one of those sounds a little too familiar? Which one is living rent-free in your head? There's a great saying from psychiatrist Dan Siegel, you have to name it to tame it. The second you can identify your dominant inner critic, you've taken the first, most crucial step toward taking its power away.
Okay, so let's see how this all connects. These inner critics, they don't just talk. They actively build these powerful, sticky mindsets that keep us trapped in these awful cycles of anxiety and self-doubt.
The first trap is what's called maladaptive perfectionism. Now, this is not about having high standards or wanting to do good work. Oh no, this is a whole different beast. This is about setting impossible standards for yourself, driven by this deep need for control, and it always ends in beating yourself up because by definition, you can never actually meet those standards.
And then there's its nasty cousin, imposter syndrome. I think we all know this one. It's that nagging, persistent feeling that you're a total fraud, that all your success is just down to luck or good timing, and that any second now, someone's going to tap you on the shoulder and expose you. This fear just robs you of your power and stops you from ever truly owning your accomplishments.
And this slide just lays it all out so perfectly. Maladaptive perfectionism is an unhealthy trap. Its focus is on flaws, its goal is impossible, and it just leads straight to burnout. But striving for excellence, that's a healthy drive. It's focused on growth, on effort, and it actually leads to real satisfaction. So the big question is, how do we make that shift?
And that brings us to the most important part of this whole thing, the solution. It's time to stop talking about the problem and start talking about action. Let's get into how you can actually, actively rewire your brain and break these patterns.
Listen, if you only take one thing away from this, let it be this. This is an absolute game changer. Most of us think we need to wait for motivation to show up before we can take action, but all the science shows we've got it completely backward. Action is what creates motivation.
You literally have to start doing the thing to feel like doing the thing.
So for all of us high achievers who tend to get stuck in analysis paralysis, this tool is a lifesaver. When you're stuck on a decision, just run it through these 3 simple filters. Number 1, will this help me grow? Number 2, is this decision coming from my ego, for status, or is it authentically me? And number 3, deep down, does this actually excite me? It's such a simple way to cut through all the mental noise.
And this is just such a powerful psychological truth. We don't just act based on who we are, we actually become who we are based on how we act. Think about that. So if you want to be a more confident person, you have to start acting like a more confident person. You literally teach your brain who you are by showing up as that person, starting today.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's pull all these ideas together into a practical toolkit that you can start using right away to manage these feelings and build real, genuine, lasting confidence.
First up, for managing that day-to-day anxiety. 1. Honor your sleep. Stop that revenge bedtime procrastination where you trade sleep for a few hours of feeling in control. 2. Acknowledge your anxious feelings without judging yourself for having them. And 3. Start reclaiming your control by setting boundaries and practicing the simple, powerful act of saying no.
Now, to tackle that destructive perfectionism, try to shift your focus from the perfect outcome to just finding joy in the process itself. Let go of the need for 100% and aim for a much more realistic 80%. When you make a decision, commit to it. Stop the endless second guessing. And this is a big one. Start taking action before you feel 100% ready.
And finally, to beat back that imposter syndrome, first, just recognize the inner chatter. Don't fight it, just notice it's there. Second, shift your focus off of yourself by asking, how can I help someone else right now? And third, and this is maybe the most important, break the silence. Talk about how you feel with someone you trust. I promise you, you will be shocked by how many people feel the exact same way.
So I'll leave you with this question. After all of this, what is one small, concrete action you can take tomorrow to start showing up for the life you want? Not next week, not when you feel like it, tomorrow. Because remember, action is what creates motivation. And taking that one small action, well, that's how you really begin to build the life you truly want to live.